This is the video presentation for Module 10 entitled Communicating Digital Content, Wired and Wireless Networks and Devices. Contents in this presentation are called from Discovering Computers, Digital Technology, Data, and Devices. As you go along in this module, you'll be able to discuss the purpose of the components required for successful communications and identify various sending and receiving devices. Differentiate among LANs, MANs, WANs, and PANs. Differentiate between client-server and peer-to-peer networks. Explain the purpose of communication software. Describe the various network communication standards and protocols. Also describe the various types of communication lines. Describe commonly used communications devices. Discuss different ways to set up and configure a home network. Differentiate among physical transmission media and differentiate among wireless transmission media. By definition, digital communications describe a process in which two or more computers or devices transfers data, instruction, and information. One form of communication nowadays is through our computers, laptop, desktop, and this is through the means of connecting this or establishing a network. So how do we define a network? These are collections of computers and devices connected together via communication devices and transmission media. There are different types of network. We have, say, we are to connect computers within a small area or limited area. We call it as a local area network. We connect our network or we connect our computers or we establish a network um, through the use of antenna without the use of any cables or less cables. We call it as a wireless local area network. We connect to the internet, connecting computers in a much wider area. We call it as a wide area network. Or we establish a network that connects computers and devices in an individual's workspace using wired or wireless technology. We call it as a personal area network. A communication software usually consists of programs and apps, and this software helps users establish to connect to another computer, mobile device, or network. It also manages the transmission of data, instruction, and information, also provide an interface for users to communicate with one another. There are popular network technology we have, like Ethernet. Also, there's one we call as token ring. As you go along in this program, there is a course dedicated for you to really have an in-depth learning on the fundamentals of network. So in there, you'll learn more about Ethernet and token ring. But now, Ethernet, by definition, is a standard that specifies no central computer or devices on the network should control when data can be transmitted. There are network devices, a router, or a switch, which are of Ethernet type. Ethernet is the most popular that we have in the market. Token ring standards that specifies that computers and devices on the network share or pass a special signal we call as a token. Popular protocol we have when we talk about computer network is the TCP/IP. Our operating system has this protocol, and the protocol. Um, this is the protocol. The reason why we have a network, we have internet. We can connect our computers to other computers. This TCP/IP, which stands for TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, and IP stands for Internet Protocol. It's a network protocol that defines how messages are routed from one end of the network to another. I have here a list of the different network technologies. We have Wi-Fi. This is according to the IEEE 802.11 standards. And in this standard, it specify how two wireless devices communicate over the air with each other. We have LTE, which stands for long-term evolution. It's a popular cellular technology. This is the technology we use to connect to our mobile data, right? Connecting our mobile phones to the internet, the one provided by our telco. LTE is a standard that defines how high-speed cellular transmissions use broadcast radio to transmit data for mobile. And we have Bluetooth. Um, it's a network protocol that defines how two Bluetooth devices use short-range radio waves to transmit data. And we also have ultra-wideband. It's a network standard that specifies how two UW, ultra-wideband devices use short-range radio waves to communicate at high speeds with each other, and IRDA, which transmits data wirelessly via the infrared light waves, and the RFID, which is a protocol that defines how a network uses radio signals to communicate with a tag placed in or attached to an object, an animal, or a person. And I have a list here of communications lines. We have cable, DSL, we have T carrier, we have ATM, and FTTP. A communication device is a type of hardware capable of transmitting data, instruction, and information between a sending device and a receiving device. And one example of a communication device, the modem, it stands for modulator demodulator. It sends and receives data and information to and from a digital line. There are modem for cable internet or cable connection or network. We also have a design model for a DSL type of a connection, say a DSL internet technology. Aside from modems, we also have other communication devices like routers, and there are different types of routers. There's a router for wireless connection, for broadband, and for mobile. And we need a router if we want to connect to the internet or if we want to connect to another network. Aside from a router, we also have a hub or a switch. If we want to connect our computers within an area, we need a hub or a switch. You will learn more about hubs and switches in Network Fundamentals. You have a course dedicated for you to really learn more about these network devices. Also, if you proceed on those learning activities in this module, you learn also different characteristics of these network devices, like the hub, the router, the switch, and then the network card, which by definition, it enables a computer or device that does not have built-in networking capability to access a network. And then we have our cable. Okay, we call it a transmission media. There's different types of cable. They have their own characteristics. As you move to those learning activities posted in your Blackboard account, you will learn these characteristics in this module. There's also a specification for the performance of these media or cables. And we have two here, bandwidth, which defines the amount of data or information that can travel over the media. We also relate bandwidth with speed or or we usually define it as the rate of data transfer. Another term we have here is the latency, and this is the time it takes a signal to travel from one location to another on a given network. And then for wireless transmission media, I have two items here, popular technology under wireless. We have communication satellite, which is a space station that receives microwave signals from Earth-based station, amplifies it, and broadcasts the signal over a wide area to any number of Earth-based stations. We also have a GPS, which stands for Global Positioning System. It's a navigation system that consists of one or more Earth-based receivers that accept and analyze signals sent by satellites in order to determine the receiver's geographical location. So once you work on with those learning activities for this module, be able to uh, be familiar with the network and communication technologies, understand various types of network architectures and standards and protocols, um, have a knowledge and communication software, be able to identify several types of communication lines and communication devices, also how to create a home network and familiarization on the variety of physical transmission media and wireless transmission media. This is the end of this video presentation. I'd like to thank you for listening in this presentation.